Hello, friends. Welcome to Unacademy, India's largest learning platform. Now, friends, today we will continue with the NCRT Marathon series, Fundamentals of Physical Geography, Part 3. Now, in this part, we will discuss the remaining topics. For example, we have covered the topics in earlier sessions like geography as a discipline. Then we have started the Earth unit where we have talked about the origin and evolution of the Earth, interior of the Earth. In last session of the interior of the Earth, we have discussed about introductory part and the other aspects of the interior of the Earth. In interior of the Earth, we have started with the sources of information about the interior, direct sources, indirect sources. We have also discussed about earthquake waves, then primary waves, primary, secondary, and surface waves. So, friends, as we have studied, surface waves are more harmful and disastrous than other waves. Propagation of earthquake waves, then emergence of shadow zone like P wave shadow zone, S wave shadow zone, then types of earthquakes, tectonic earthquakes, then we have discussed about volcanic earthquake, collapse earthquake, explosion earthquakes, and reservoir induced earthquakes. Then we have studied about effects of earthquake, where, dear friends, we discussed about the effects like ground shaking, the initial part when we are observing the earthquake. So, ground shaking, differential ground settlement, land and mudslides, soil liquefaction, ground lurching, avalanches, ground lurching avalanches, then ground displacement, floods from dam and levee failures, fires, structural collapse, falling objects, and tsunami. These last 6 effects, these are causing immediate effect or the concern to the life and properties of people, and initial listed effects have some bearing upon landforms. Now, after that, we have discussed about structure of the earth, where we have studied the crust, mantle, core, so the outermost solid part of the earth, which is known as the crust. Then the mean thickness of the oceanic crust is 5 kilometers, whereas the continental crust, which is around 30 kilometers. So the continental crust is thicker in the areas of major mountains, like in Himalayan region it's 70-kilometer thick. Then we have studied about mantle. So the portion in the interior beyond the crust is known as mantle, and this mantle extends from Moho's discontinuity to a depth of 2,900 kilometer. Yes. Then the upper portion of mantle is called asthenosphere, as we have discussed. Then the core, where the earthquake waves velocities help in understanding the extent of core of the earth. So the core mantle boundary is located at depth of 2,900 kilometers. So basically the outer core is in liquid state while the inner core is in solid state. Volcanoes and volcanic landforms. Now, we may have seen photographs or pictures of volcanoes on a number of occasions. Now, a volcano is a place where gases, ashes, molten rock material, lava escape to the ground. Volcano is called an active volcano if the material mentioned are being released or have been released out the recent past. Now, higher density than that of the crust, we have covered, that is asthenosphere. The mantle contains a weaker zone is known as asthenosphere. And the material in the upper mantle portion is called magma. We have studied about volcanoes, shield volcanoes, where cinder cone we have discussed in last session. Then composite volcanoes, caldera, flood basalt provinces. Then we have also studied about the landforms. Now in landforms, friends, we have studied about like volcanic landforms, intrusive forms, then batholiths, laccoliths, lapolith, pacholith, and silts, then dikes. So let's start with the distribution of oceans and continents. Now, friends, before starting the topic, it's my pleasure to welcome you all on Unacademy, India's largest learning platform. It's me, Rushikesh Inamdar, guiding UPSC aspirants from last 8 years. You can follow me on Unacademy, and you can also join the Telegram group to get important updates. Now, friends, there are 3-in-1 offer where with the single subscription of Unacademy, you will get number of benefits, including Unacademy notes worth rupees 10,000 absolutely free with 1 year and above subscription. Then you can apply for loan or no cost EMI facilities using the link provided in the description box. So now you can chase your dream with Unacademy courses. And friends, we are also providing 2 months subscription, which available only at rupees 15,000. So you can use code RBI Live to get 10% discount on this subscription. Now, dear friends, we are providing iconic and plus paid subscription on our platform where in plus subscription you will get live classes, weekly tests, structured courses, and unlimited access for live and recorded classes. Whereas those aspirants pursuing their graduation or after their 12th examination planning to start their preparation for civil services, they can go with iconic subscription. Now, friends, in iconic subscription, you will get all the features of plus course along with additional features like personal guidance, study planner, study material, experts guidelines, and test analysis. So it's our suggestion to all those aspirants, please go with iconic subscription where you can start your preparation in comprehensive mode. Now, you can also avail 10% discount using referral code RBI Live on our paid subscriptions. So friends, after using this referral code, you will get 10% discount, which means for the plus subscription, 1 year duration, you have to pay only 44,550 rupees. Whereas for the 1 year of iconic subscription, you have to pay only 67,050 rupees. Friends, you will also avail 10% discount using referral code RBI Live on optional subscription. And do not forget to enroll yourself for Unacademy Combat. The friends, link is given in the description box. It's free for all aspirants. So reserve your time on Sunday morning 11 a.m. So as per your ranks, you will get amazing prizes and scholarship. So first 3 rank holders will get 1 year UPSC CSE plus subscription. And other rank holders will get as per their rank scholarships like 75%, 50%, and 25%. So you can use code RBI Live to register for the UPSC Combat. Friends, we are going to start new batches from 1st September. That is from tomorrow onwards. Batches we have like 1 year, 2 year regular batches. Along with that, film focused batch, that is 360 degrees current affairs coverage. Mission All India rank 1 prelims. Then free test series for all aspirants. You can unlock the test using code RBI Live, where we will cover general studies and current affairs part. So friends, as we have studied few topics, now let's start with the distribution of oceans and continents. Now friends, as we have discussed about the interior of the earth in previous session, I hope everyone is familiar with the world map. Now, continents which cover 29% of the surface of the earth, and the remainder is under oceanic waters. Now, the position of the continents and the ocean bodies, as we see them in the map, friends, which have not the same in the past. Now, it is now well accepted fact that the oceans and continents will not continue to enjoy their present positions in times to come. If this is so, the question arises, what were their positions in the past? Now, why and how do they change their positions? So, finding out the answers of these questions. Now, friends, even if it is true that the continents and oceans have changed and are changing their positions, we may wonder as to how scientists know this. How have they determined their earlier positions? So we will find the answers to some of these and related questions in this chapter. Now, we will discuss continental drift. Now, friends, just observe the shape of the coastline of Atlantic Ocean. Yes. You will be surprised by the symmetry of the coastlines on either side of the ocean. No wonder many scientists thought of this similarity and considered the possibility of two Americas, Europe and Africa, to be once joined together. From the records of the history of science, it was Abraham Ortelius, a Dutch map maker, who first proposed such possibility as in early 1596. So Antonio Pellegrini drew a map showing the three continents together. So, however, it was Alfred Wegener, a German meteorologist, who put forth comprehensive argument in the form of the continental drift. Yes. So a German meteorologist Alfred Wegener, who proposed and put forth a comprehensive argument in the form of the Continental Drift theory in 1912. Now, this was regarding the distribution of the oceans and the continents. Now, according to Wegner, all the continents formed a single continental mass and mega oceans surrounded the same. Now, the supercontinent was named Pangaea. So, the supercontinent, which named Pangaea, which meant all Earth. The mega ocean was called Panthalsa, which meaning all water. So friends, the supercontinent was named Pangaea. Yes, Pangaea, which means all Earth. And then the mega ocean was called Panthalassa, that is all water. So he argued around 200 million years ago, the supercontinent, this Pangaea, in the diagram, which, yes, so around 200 million years ago, the supercontinent Pangaea began to split. So Pangaea first broke into two large continental masses as the name of these two continents is Laurasia and Gondwana. Yes. So basically, the split of Pangaea into two large continental masses, that is Laurasia and Gondwana land. Now, they understand Gondwana land, which forming the northern and southern components respectively, and subsequently Laurasia and Gondwana land continued to break into various smaller continents that exist today. So, a variety of evidence was offered in support of the continental drift. And like evidence in support of the continental drift, so evidence in support to the continental drift, the matching of continents G saw fit to the shorelines of Africa and South Africa. Sorry, the shorelines of Africa and South America facing each other have remarkable and unmistakable match. Now, it may be noted that a map produced using computer program to find the best fit of the Atlantic margin was presented by the Bullard in 1964. So it proved to be quite perfect. So the match was tried at 1000 fathom line instead of the present shoreline. So the concept of matching of continents, that is jigsaw fit, now rocks of same age across the oceans yes, then next evidence that is rocks of same age across the ocean. Now the radiometric dating methods developed in the recent period have facilitated over-relating the rock formation from different continents across the vast ocean. The belt of ancient rocks of 2000 million years from Brazil coast, which matches with those from Western Africa. The earliest marine deposits along the coastline of South America and Africa are the Jurassic Age. So this suggests that the ocean did not exist prior to that time. Now the rock of same age across the oceans to the radiometric dating methods developed in the recent period have which facilitated correlating the rock formation from different continents across the vast ocean. Then light it is the sedimentary rock formed out of deposits of glaciers The Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in six different land masses of the southern hemisphere. At the base, the system has thick light indicating extensive and prolonged glaciation. Now, counterparts of this succession are found in Africa, now the counterparts of this succession are found in basically Africa, Falkland Island, Madagascar, Antarctica, and Australia. So, overall resemblance of the Gondwana type sediments clearly demonstrate that these land masses had remarkably similar histories. The glacial Tillite provides unambiguous evidence of paleoclimates and also drifting the continents. Now, placer deposits. Friends, now placer deposits. The occurrence of rich placer deposits of gold in the Ghana coast and the absolute absence of source rock in the region is an amazing fact. So the occurrence of rich placer deposits of gold in the Ghana coast and the absolute absence of source rock in the region is an amazing fact. The gold bearing veins are in Brazil, and it is obvious that the gold deposits of the Ghana are derived from the Brazil plateau when the two continents lay side by side. Now, distribution of fossils. When identical species of plants and animals adapted to living on land or in fresh water are found on either side of the marine barriers, a problem arises regarding accounting for such a distribution. The observations that lemurs occur in India, Madagascar, and Africa led some to consider a contiguous landmass, Lemuria, linking these three landmasses. Lemuria, linking these three land masses Mesosaurus was a small reptile adapted to shallow brackish water. Now, the skeletons of these are found only in two localities, that is the Southern Cape province of South Africa and irregular formations of Brazil. The two localities are presently 4,800 kilometers apart with an ocean in between them. So the South Africa and yes, Southern Cape province of South Africa and irregular formation of Brazil, they have distance of 4,800 kilometers apart with an ocean in between them. Now, after the continental drift, we will continue with the force for drifting. Now, friends, Wagner suggested that the movement responsible for the drifting of the continents was caused by pole fling force and tidal force. The point of the earth. Now, yes, this force which really rotation of the earth. Now, the earth is not a perfect sphere. It has bulk at the equator, and the bulk is due to the rotation of the equator. Or, sorry, this bulk is due to the rotation of the earth. Now, the second force that suggested by Wagner is tidal force. Now, tidal force is due to the attraction of the moon and the sun that develops tides in oceanic waters. Wagner believed that these forces would become effective when applied over many million years. However, most of scholars considered these forces to be totally inadequate. Now, remember that the forces like pole filling force and tidal force, that is the force for drifting. Now, when we are talking about the post drift studies, it is interesting to note that the continental drift most of the evidence was collected from the continental areas in the form of the distribution of flora and fauna, like sea light. Number of discoveries during the post World War II period, which added new information to geological literature and particularly information to, yes, information collected from ocean floor mapping provided new dimensions of the study of distribution of oceans and continents. So with this, studies and new maps or research which get information of distribution of oceans and continents. After this, the before studying ocean floor configuration, we will discuss about the conventional current theory. Conventional current theory. Now, 1930s discussed the possibility of convection currents operating in the mantle portion. These currents are generated due to radioactive elements causing thermal differences in the mantle portion. Holmes argued that there exists a system of such currents in the entire mantle portion. Now, this was an attempt to provide an explanation to the issue of force, on of which contemporary scientists discarded the continental drift theory. Now, after the conventional current theory, will the mapping of the ocean floor. Now, detailed research of the ocean configuration, which revealed that the ocean floor is not just a vast plain, but it is full of relief. Expeditions to map the oceanic floor in the post World War II period provided a detailed picture of the ocean relief and indicated the existence of submerged mountain ranges as well as deep trenches. Now, mostly located closer to the continent margins, the mid-oceanic regions were found to be most active in terms of volcanic eruptions, The dating of the rocks from the oceanic crust revealed that they are much younger than the continental areas, than rocks on either side of the crest of oceanic ridges, and having equidistant locations from the crest were found to have remarkable similarities both in terms of their constituents and their age. Now, after this, we will discuss about the ocean floor configuration. The section which we shall note a few things related to the ocean floor configuration that help us in the understanding of the distribution of continents and oceans. So you will be studying the detailed ocean floor relief in this NCERT series only, that is in the after few chapters. Now, the ocean floor may be segmented into the major divisions based on the depth as well as the forms of relief. These divisions are continental margins, so continental margins, deep sea basins, mid-ocean ridges. Now, with the culminative area higher than each level, that is the ocean floor. Now, friends, do not forget to download the Unacademy app. You can follow me there So you will get notification about our spatial classes. Now friends, these spatial classes will help you to gear up your preparation to the next level. Now, these pre-special classes are interactive live classes. There will be polls, the option of raise a hand. You'll get alerts about the schedule. After session or the lectures, you'll get study notes or the lecture notes in PDF forms, and the important part or the feature of the free special classes is, and the lectures on app you can watch as per your convenience, that is live or recorded. So dear friends, download the Unacademy app. You can use the code RBI Live to get the free content on watch the free special classes by all educators. You will get scheduled of these classes. Next, here is the an important feature, that is the raise hand. So download Unacademy app today, and it will help you to gear up your preparation. Next, let's discuss about the ocean floor. So the distribution of continents and oceans. So see the continent and ocean basin floor. The continental space, highest mountain and sea level, deepest ocean, now friends, the sea level and the height and depth, the ocean floor, which indicating the are the highest mountain above the sea level, then continental slope, sea level, then average height, then average depth, then continental shelf. So this is the ocean floor. Now we'll discuss about the continental margins. Now we will discuss about continental margins. Now these form the transition between continental shores and deep sea basins. They include continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise, and deep oceanic trenches. So of these, the deep oceanic trenches are the areas which are of considerable interest in so far as the distribution of oceans and continents is concerned. Continental margins form the transition between continental shores and deep sea basins. Now they include continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise, and deep oceanic trenches. The deep oceanic trenches are the areas which are of considerable interest in so far as the distribution of ocean and continents is concerned. Now, plains these are extensive plains that lie between the continental margins and mid-oceanic ridges. The axial plains are the areas where the continental sediments that move beyond the margins get deposited. So these planes lies between the continental margins and mid oceanic ridges. The axial plains are the areas where the continental sediments that move beyond the margins get deposited. Yes. Now, friends, apologize for the inconvenience due to a small technical issue. Now, mid oceanic ridges. So, this forms an interconnected chain of mountain systems interconnected chain of mountain system within the ocean. So it is the longest mountain chain of the surface of the earth, though submerged under the oceanic waters. It is characterized by a central rift system at the crest, a fractional or fractionated plateau, and flank zone all along its length. The rift system at the crest is the zone of intense volcanic activity. So we have discussed about the types of volcanoes as mid-oceanic volcanoes in previous session. So the mid-oceanic ridges, which forms an interconnected chain of mountain system within the ocean. Now, after this, we will discuss the distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes. Now we will discuss distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes. So when we see the map of distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes, now we'll notice a line of dots in the central parts of Atlantic Ocean, almost parallel to coastlines, and further extends to the Indian Ocean. It bifurcates a little south of Indian subcontinent with branch moving to the East Africa. Now, the other similar line from Myanmar to New Guyana, so we'll notice that this line of dots coincides with the mid-oceanic ridges. The shaded belt showing another area of concentration coincides with alpine Himalayan system and the rim of the Pacific Ocean. In general, the foci of the earthquake in the areas of mid-oceanic ridges are at shallow depths, whereas along the alpine Himalayan belt as well as the rim of the Pacific, the earthquakes are deep seated ones. Now, the map of volcanoes also shows a similar pattern. So the rim of the Pacific is also called rim of fire. Due to the existence of active volcanoes in this area. So understanding the concept of seafloor spreading. The concept of seafloor spreading, as mentioned about the post-drift studies, which provided considerable information that was not available at time of Wagner put forth his concept of continental drift. So particularly the mapping of the ocean floor and the paleomagnetic studies of rocks from oceanic regions revealed the following facts, like it was realized that all along the mid-oceanic ridges then volcanic eruptions these are common, and they bring huge amounts of lava to the surface in this area. Now, the rocks equidistant on either sides of the crest of mid-oceanic ridges, which show remarkable similarities in terms of period of formation, chemical composition, and magnetic properties. So friends, the age of the rocks increases as one moves away from the crest. Now, the ocean crust rocks are much younger than continental rocks. Yes, ocean crust rocks are much younger than continental rocks. So the age of rocks in the oceanic crust is nowhere than, yes, nowhere more than 200 million years old. Some of the continental rock formations are as old as 3,200 million years. Now, the sediments on the ocean floor, yes, the sediments on the ocean floor unexpectedly very thin, Scientists were expecting, if the ocean floors were as old as the continent, to have a complete sequence of sediments for a period of much longer duration. However, nowhere was the sediment column found to be older than 200 million years. Now, the deep trenches have deep seated earthquake occurrences while in the mid oceanic ridge areas. The quake foci have shallow depths. So, the sediments on the ocean floor are unexpectedly very thin. So, scientists were expecting, if the ocean floors were as old as the continent, to have a complete sequence of sediments for a period of much longer duration. So, however, nowhere was the sediment column found to be older than 200 million years, and the deep trenches have deep seated earthquake occurrences, while in the mid oceanic areas. Yes, while in the mid oceanic areas, the quake foci have shallow depths. So these facts and detailed analysis of magnetic properties magnetic properties of the rocks on either sides of the mid-oceanic ridge led since 1961 to propose his hypothesis, which known as the seafloor spreading. Now, Hess argued that constant eruptions at the crest of oceanic ridges cause the rupture of the oceanic crust and the new lava wedges into it. Now, pushing the oceanic crust on either side, the ocean floor thus spreads the younger edge of the oceanic crust, as well as the fact that the spreading of one ocean does not the shrinking of the other. So, the younger edge of the oceanic crust, as well as the fact that the spreading of one ocean does not cause the shrinking of the other, meant, let's think about the consumption of the oceanic crust. Now, he further maintained the ocean floor that gets pushed due to volcanic eruptions at the crest and sinks down at the oceanic trenches and gets consumed. Now, the basic concept of seafloor, which spreading has been depicted in this seafloor spreading diagram. See the convergent plate boundary, transform plate boundary, divergent plate boundary, convergent plate boundary again is here. Then continental rift zone, that is young plate boundary. See the lithosphere, oceanic crust, subducting plate, asthenosphere, and hotspot. These are the stratovolcano, shield volcano, oceanic spreading ridge, then trench, so after this, we will discuss plate tectonics. Now, friends, since the advent of the concept of seafloor spreading, the interest in the problem of distribution of oceans and continents was revived. It was in 1967. Mackenzie and Parker and also Morgan independently collected the available ideas and came up with another concept which is known as plate tectonics. So, a tectonic plate, also called lithospheric plate, lithospheric plate, which is massive, irregularly shaped slab of solid rock, generally composed of both continental and oceanic lithosphere. Now, plates move horizontally over the asthenosphere as rigid units. So the lithosphere includes the crust and the top mantle with its thickness range, which vary so the crust and top mantle with its thickness, which range varying between 5 and 100 km in oceanic parts and about 200 km in the continental areas. A plate may be referred to as the continental plate or oceanic plate, which depending on which the two occupy a larger portion of the plate. So the Pacific plate is largely an oceanic plate, whereas the Eurasian plate may be called continental plate. Yes, Eurasian plate, which is known as continental plate. So friends, the concept of plate tectonic where a tectonic plate, which is also called lithospheric plate, is massive irregularly shaped slab of solid rock, generally composed of both continental and oceanic lithosphere. The plates move horizontally over the asthenosphere as rigid units. The lithosphere includes the crust and the top mantle with its thickness range varying between 5 and 100 km in oceanic parts and about 200 km in the continental areas. A plate may be referred to as the continental plate or oceanic plate, depending on which of the two occupy a larger portion of the plate. Now, Pacific plate is largely an oceanic plate, whereas the Eurasian plate may be called continental plate. The theory of plate tectonics proposed that the Earth's lithosphere which divides into 7 major and some minor plates. Young fold mountain regions, sorry, young fold mountain ridges, trenches, or folds around these major plates. Now see the major and minor plates of the world. Now, the Antarctic plate, then North American plate, then South American plate, Pacific plate, Indo-Australian plate, African plate, Eurasian plate, these are the major plates. Now, the Antarctica and the surrounding oceanic plate, this one, then North America with Western Atlantic floors spread from the South African plate along the Caribbean islands to North African plate, South American plate with Western Atlantic floor spreaded from the North American plate along the Caribbean islands, then Pacific plate, India, Australia, New Zealand plate, Africa with the Eastern Atlantic floor plate, so Eurasia and the adjacent oceanic plate. Then these are the major plates of the world. Now discuss about the minor plates. Cocos plate, so between Central America and Pacific plate. Nazca plate between South America and Pacific plate. Yes, see, this is the Cocos plate. Nazca plate. Arabian plate, mostly the Saudi Arabian landmass. Just will mention the minor plate with the yellow color. So you will easily understand the Cocos plate, Nazca plate, Arabian plate, then Philippine plate, between the Asiatic and Pacific plate, then Caroline plate between the Philippine and Indian plate, that is north of New Guinea. Then Fiji plate, sorry, Fuji plate, which is northeast of Australia. So these plates have been constantly moving over the globe throughout the history of the earth. It is not the continent that moves as believed by Wagner. So continents are part of a plate, and what moves is the plate, not continent. Now, moreover, it may be noted that all the plates, without exception, have moved in the geological past and shall continue to move in the future as well. Wagner had thought of all the continents to have initially existed as a supercontinent in the form of Pangaea. However, the later discoveries reveal that the continental masses resting on the plates have been wandering all through the geological period. And Pangaea was a result of converging of different continental masses that were part of one or the other plates. So scientists using the paleomagnetic data have determined the positions held by each of the present continental landmass in different geological periods. Yes, which is shown in the figure. Now, position of the Indian subcontinent, mostly the peninsular India, is traced with the help of rocks analyzed from the Nagpur area. There are three types of plate boundaries. One is divergent boundaries, convergent, second one is convergent boundaries, and third one is transform boundaries. Now just discuss divergent boundaries. Now, where new crust is generated as the plates pull away from each other, the sites where the plates move away from each other are called spreading sites. The best known example of divergent boundaries is the mid Atlantic ridge. At this, the American plates are separated from the Eurasian and African plates. The divergent boundaries where new crust is generated as the plates pull away from each other. Now, the sites where the plates move away from each other are called trading sites. So, the best known example of divergent boundaries is the mid Atlantic ridge. At this, the American plates are separated from the Eurasian and African plates. Now, convergent boundaries. Next type is convergent boundaries. Now, friends, where new crust is generated as the plates pull away from each other, the sites where the plates, yes, where the new crust is generated as the plates pull away from each other, the sites where the plates move away from each other are called, yes, now, that's correct. The convergent boundaries Friends, where the crust is destroyed as one plate dives under another to the location where sinking of plate which occurs called subduction zone. There are three ways in which convergence can occur. There, yes, the convergence can occur. These are oceanic and continental plate. Then between two oceanic plates, and third, between two continental plates. Now, convergent boundaries where the crust is destroyed as one plate dived under another to the location where sinking of a plate occurs is called subduction zone. Now, there are three ways in which convergence can occur between an oceanic and continental plate, between two oceanic plates, and between two continental plates. Now, next is transform boundaries. So, friends, where the crust is neither produced nor destroyed, as the plates slide horizontally past each other, then transform faults are the planes of separation, generally perpendicular to the mid-oceanic regions, as the eruption do not take all along the entire crest. At the same time, there is a differential movement of a portion of the plate which is away from the axis of the earth. So there is differential movement of a portion of the plate away from the axis of the earth. Also, the rotation of the earth has its effect on the separated blocks of the plate portions. Yes, the rotation of the earth has its effect on the separated blocks of the plate portions. Now, we will discuss the rates of plate movement. Now, we will discuss rates of plate movement. Now, friends, the strips of normal and reverse normal and reverse magnetic field that parallel the mid-oceanic ridges help scientists determine the rates of plate movement. These rates vary considerably. The Arctic ridge has the slowest rate, that is less than 2.5 centimeter per year, and the East Pacific rise near Easter Island. So in the South Pacific, about 3,400 kilometers west of Chile, has the fastest rate, more than 15 centimeter per year. Now, the rates of plate movement. So the strips of normal and reverse magnetic field that parallel the mid-oceanic ridges help scientists determine the rates of plate movement. Then these rates vary considerably. The Arctic ridge has the slowest rate, which is less than 2.5 centimeter per year, whereas the east, yes, the East Pacific rise near Easter Island in the Pacific, which is about 304,000 kilometers west of Chile, has fastest rate, that is more than 15 centimeter per year. Yes. Now, the rates of plate movement. Now, let's discuss force for the plate movement. So, friends, at the time when Wagner proposed this, yes, proposed his theory of continental drift, most scientists believe that the earth was a solid motionless body. However, the concept of seafloor spreading and the unified theory of plate tectonics have emphasized that both the surface of the earth and the interior are not static and motionless but are dynamic. So the fact that the plates move is now well accepted fact. The mobile rock beneath the rigid plates is believed to be moving in a circular manner where the heated material rises to the surface, spreads and begins to cool, and then sinks back into deeper depths. Now this cycle is repeated over and over to generate what scientists call a convection sail or convective flow. So heat within the earth, which comes from two main sources, Yes, heat within the earth, which comes from two main sources. One is radioactive decay, and residual heat. So, friends, the Arthur Holmes, which first considered this idea in 1930s, which later influenced Harry Hayes' thinking about seafloor spreading. So, the slow movement of hot, softened mantle that lies below the rigid plates is the driving force place behind the plate movement. So the slow movement of hot, softened mantle that lies below the rigid plate is the driving force behind the plate movement. Now, in the next session, we will continue with the movement of the Indian plate. Now, friends, today we have, in this session, we have discussed about the distribution of ocean and continents, where we have discussed about continental drift, evidence in support of the continental drift, where we have discussed about the matching of continents, jigsaw fit, rocks of same age across the oceans, then tillite, placer deposits, distribution of fossils, then we have discussed about force drifting, post drift studies, conventional current theory, then mapping of the ocean floor. We have discussed ocean floor configuration with ocean floor diagram, continental margins, axial plains, mid-oceanic ridges, distribution of earthquakes and volcanoes, concept of seafloor spreading, then distribution of earthquake and volcanoes, seafloor spreading, then plate tectonics, The motions of the continent during the past 540 million years, like South America, Africa, South America, Antarctica, Australia, India, China, North America, Europe, and Siberia. So that is the position of continents through geological past. Then we have studied about the major and minor plates of the world. Now, after that, we have just discussed the divergent boundaries, convergent boundaries, transform boundaries. So when we are talking about major and minor plates of the world, so major plates like Antarctica and the surrounding oceanic plate. Then second is North American plate. Third, South American plate. Fourth one is Pacific plate. Fifth one, India, Australia, New Zealand plate. Sixth, Africa with Eastern Atlantic floor plate. Seventh is Eurasia and the adjacent oceanic plate. Whereas minor plates, Caucasus plate, Nazca plate, Arabian plate, Philippine plate, Caroline plate, Fuji plate, so friends, after that we have discussed about rate of plate movement and then force for the plate movement. So friends, that's it for today's session. We'll continue the remaining topics in the next marathon session. So friends, do not forget to join Unacademy courses where you will get 3-in-1 offer. Unacademy notes worth rupees 10,000 absolutely free. Loan or no cost EMI benefits and 2 months subscription available at only 15,000 rupees. And if you will use referral code RBI Live, then you will get 10% discount. The UPSC Combat we are conducting on every Sunday morning 11 am. The link is provided in the description box. So just go through that link and register yourself for UPSC Combat. It's absolutely free. And friends, here are the new batches we are going to start from 1st September. We have 1 year and 2 year batches for UPSC CSE. So as per your convenience, you can join these batches. Those aspirants planning to appear for this year, they should start the solving maximum MCQs. Where friends, You can use code RBI Life to unlock the test where we'll cover general studies and current affairs part. So link is provided in the description box. Now friends, the learner's journey for 2022 batch, like 7, 2 and 3 months plan along with the journey for 2023 batch, that is the 2-year plan. So friend, as per your convenience, you can join these batches. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe Unacademy videos. See you in the next lecture with the remaining topic. Till the time, keep studying, keep revising. Stay home, stay safe.